I love people. I love communities. I love art, storytelling. We got tequila. It's super authentic. People don't have access to investment in tequila. It's just the way it is. It's been monopolized by big companies. Pretty much United States and China own all of the tequila industry, which is very sad since it was born and raised in Mexico. I want to build a decentralized opportunity for people and tequila aficionados to be part of the industry, to benefit from it, to enjoy it. Tequila is for everybody. Tequila is for ApeChain. Tequila is for Ethereum. Tequila is for Bitcoin. Tequila connects everybody. Right now, the True Alpha is probably what we're going to try to do during NFT Paris, and we will keep you guys posted. That's like super new, man. We haven't even shared this news on Discord. Right now, we're trying to secure a $2 million investment into the project. So imagine what that would do for our community. So we know it's going to take a little bit of time, but like I said, our holders are happy with us. They like what we're doing.
You guys are building the biggest social tequila club with 5,555 NFTs. The point is to make friends, be a part of the tequila industry, and co-own a tequila brand through real-world assets, through a brand, through a tequila distillery in itself. Hey KOINectors! Today we have Memo with us, the founder of the Mingles NFT project. Hey Memo, how are you doing?
Hey, Reader. Doing great, man. How are you?
Thank you so much for asking. Memo, thank you for joining us. Let's get right into it. For those who are unaware, can you give us a brief of your project and everything you're up to?
Yes, of course. So we are Mingles. Nice to meet you guys. We are building the biggest social club, tequila social club in the world through blockchain technology, crypto, NFT enthusiasts, gamers. And what we do is build a club where people can make friends and most importantly, be part of the tequila industry with our business model, which is a co-owned tequila distillery alongside with some storytelling, brand, IP, gaming. You guys are welcome to join. Tequila is for everybody.
Great to hear. Before we get more into all the tequila and those good things, we'd love to know a little bit more about you. Can you tell us a little about yourself, your life before Web3, and how your journey in the Web3 space began?
So my Web3 journey began 3-4 years ago. Before I came into the space, I would do PR, sponsorships, project management, product development. I was the right-hand man for a company called Geusa, which they do tequila, they do hard seltzers, they do beer. It started with a craft beer company called Escala in Guadalajara, Mexico. I would do everything for them, anywhere from marketing, like I said, product development. I would even help the owner and the group find investors, work with the decks, attend to the investors as well. When they came here, I would show them around Tequila Town, Guadalajara. So I would do a lot of the hosting here for investors. After a couple of years, part of my work over there was to sponsor other communities in Guadalajara, tech communities, art communities, every single community out here. We had this strategy where we would start sponsoring little communities all over the city. So we would have intricate circles within these activations and really boost the trademark for the Scala, the IBUs here. That's what I spent 3-4 years of my life with them. That was almost 7 years ago. And I've done everything for them, from marketing to sales. So I was in Europe in a TED Talk about Axie Infinity and how people were making money in the Philippines and making millions of dollars for some people, actually. And I always been a gamer myself. So I've heard about blockchain, I've heard about crypto, but I didn't really get into it until I learned about this. I took a course on Zen Academy on YouTube and NAS Academy as well with Crypto Kuku, Benju, and Seneca. I learned about NFTs, communities, and people making money and IP. I learned about the Bored Ape Yacht Club, Asuki, all of the blue chip projects, and I just fall in love. I told myself, you know what? I'm building a brand. I'm good at marketing. I'm good at building communities, talking to people. So I thought, why should I do it for somebody else? I'm going to do it for myself. Everybody else wants to join me. And my passion was tequila. My passion was making friends. So it just made sense. And I love storytelling. I love creating worlds, lore. And that's how initially Tequilaverse came to be. Later on, rebranded to Mingles.
Fantastic. What an amazing story. And Yeah, I'm sure all that experience with that prior company you were working in related to PR, project management, marketing, I'm sure a lot of those skills were very transferable to Web3 because those skills are definitely extremely important, especially when you're running a project. And it's really great to hear you also did online courses and stuff, and then you got involved with NFTs, like you mentioned, BAYC, Azuki, and obviously your PFP is also a BAYC. So that's great to see that you're a part of that community. And then obviously, yeah, like you mentioned, you wanted to pursue your passion. So fantastic. Thank you
Yes.
so much for telling us your
Not
story.
only that, just wanted to add there that I wanted to really understand the culture, and I was lucky enough to be able to assist to NYC NFT back in, what was it, 2022, I believe, or 2021. It was beautiful, man. It was prior to the bear market, and it was the best experience ever. I did Consensus as well and South by Southwest. So I really dug into the whole culture thing, connected to people, but it wasn't until 8 months, 8 months ago that I really came to be part of the Bayway ecosystem. And I was lucky enough to go to Lisbon as well for the Ape Festival. And it's just amazing. It's mind blowing how communities really empower themselves and they grow their IPs and they grow their own cults. And it's just beautiful, man. Web3 is amazing.
100%, 100%. I couldn't agree more. So, yeah, obviously, like you mentioned, you had a bunch of experience. You got introduced to a bunch of projects, assisted with even events like NYC NFT. So, when was it exactly that you decided to create your own NFT project? Was there like a triggering moment, for example? And then also, what inspired your art choice?
So the moment that I learn about communities when I did my first course with NAS Academy with Venju from Curious Addies. And they're a community of developers and they're amazing. And that was it, man. Within the month that I learned about Web3, that I learned about these projects, I thought to myself, there's people making good money out of this. I learned about Constitution DAO, which is one of my favorite use cases for NFTs and crowdfunding effects or community getting together, as along with Links DAO. For us in Mingles, we want to be the Links DAO of the tequila industry, right? So it was right away, man. I thought to myself, I love people, I love communities, I love art, storytelling, world building. And I said, we got tequila. It's super authentic. It's an industry that is not a cheap industry. People don't have access to investment in tequila. It's just the way it is. It's been monopolized by big companies. Pretty much United States and China own all of the tequila industry, which is very sad since it was born and raised in Mexico. So I thought, I want to build a decentralized opportunity for people and tequila aficionados to be part of the industry, to benefit from it, to enjoy it. And I want to do it with these little worms because I love the storytelling piece of it. And worms, tequila worms are a big piece of tequila. And I said, let's just build something around that. And that's how it was pretty much born. Right at the gates, I knew this was going to be a project, a lifetime project for me. I've been working on it for the last 3 years. My co-founder, Honeybee, recently joined 2 years ago when he came for the first time, but I didn't have everything ready. And 6 months ago, he came back to Guadalajara, Mexico. He's living with me. And now we're pushing the project. We minted out on ApeChain for this Genesis collection. And now we're looking for investors. So it's been a ride, man. It's been exciting.
Fantastic. That's amazing. Yeah, and it's really great to hear that just right off the bat, like you mentioned, you were inspired to start your own project and dive headfirst into the Web3 space. And that just shows that how passionate you are and how interested you are obviously with NFTs and Web3. So that's great. So you mentioned you also have a co-founder. So just a follow-up question. Did you meet your co-founder through Web3 or how did that relation form?
That is actually one of the most beautiful stories for me, and this is the reason why I love Web3. So back in the day when I was studying about Web3 blockchain and when I was trying to build Tequilaverse back in the day instead of Mingles, we had an opportunity to use NFTs to crowdfund a beach club in Tulum. So I reached out to a marketing agency called Asteria Labs, and I met Honeybee. Honeybee was pretty much the marketing head of the project, very smart, very savvy. He knew all about the space. Stereo Labs minted out a couple of projects in 2021, raising a couple of millions of dollars. So we brought them into the picture for this project called Nalam in Tulum. And the idea was to bring investors and make a crypto-friendly beach club. We already had a beach club built in front of the beach in Tulum. We just needed investors to be able to pay for the land. I proposed using blockchain NFTs, and that's how I met Honeybee. And the project, we tried to work on the project for a couple of months. It didn't come to fruition. It didn't really love the bear market hit, and that was it. But before that, him and I had the opportunity to meet in real life in NYC NFT. This was back in 2021. So that was a beautiful experience. I've been talking to the guy for like almost 3-4 months, and we became friends. Then meeting him in person, we just had a beautiful chemistry together. And after that, I came, you know what, Tulum didn't happen, but I've dreamed about this project around tequila. So why don't you come up to Guadalajara, Mexico? I'll host you here and let's have a good time. I'll show you around. And funny enough, man, we met through a couple meetings on Zoom and Twitter and everything. We met in NYC NFT, but the guy didn't know anything about me. And he was like, the guy, I trust him. So I'm going to travel to Mexico. A couple of weeks later, after NYC NFT, he came to Mexico and spent a good 2 months with me here. We worked on the project. I took him around all of the tequila distilleries that I could do. And we were working on the project, but since I didn't have the investment to keep pushing the project, he had to go back to New York and just do his life. And we remained connected and talking about the project and rebranding it, etc. And eventually, when we had some real interest from investors, I told him, dude, now it's the time again. So hopping into a flight, come back to Mexico. And yeah, that was 4 months ago.
Wow, that's amazing. What a beautiful relationship and what a beautiful story, like you mentioned. That's just the fact that he trusted you so much and he came out to actually live with you, and the fact that you actually hosted him and toured him around all these distilleries, and it just shows that how close of a bond you two have. And then obviously things didn't pan out initially, but obviously now, once you got the interest from investors, you guys are able to create the project, your amazing passion project. So that's so incredible to hear. So obviously you already mentioned some investors, but if you would get some more details on how your project, the Mingles, was funded before minting, and then now you guys have minted out. So congratulations on that. So
Thank you.
yeah, so how are you guys managing the cost now post mint, and is that model sustainable for you?
To answer the first of your questions, it was self-funded, bootstrapping. So it came from my own money to push Mingles, the Tequilaverse, the studies, the networking, the trips, put into the project at least $20,000 prior to mint. And that's how my commitment was. This is the money invested throughout probably 2 years of my Web3 life. So when Honeybee came into the picture, he's invested a couple 5K, 8K into the project. So we were talking about probably 30K investment, doing the trademarks, opening up the companies, paying for the art, paying for the people, building the community. We did a soft launch during ETH Denver. So there's a lot of work behind it, right? And now the mint was amazing. We raised 35,000 ape, 32,000 without commissions. And the ape was doing amazing. It was at $2. So it was pretty much $60,000 raised, which was beautiful and amazing. We did not convert everything to USDT, and this free fall hit that we all took on crypto this last couple of weeks brought back our treasury to $32,000 approximately. We paid for some of the people that we owed. We still hold like $28,000 of that raise in our treasury. We plan of not touching it until ape appreciates a little bit more. So after mint, we just spent some of the money that we needed to spend, but right now we're again back to paying from our own pockets. We got our own jobs or revenue streams that we can use some of that money to put back into the project. And now we're entering a phase where minting out on Ape Chain, it's not an easy thing, but and having said that, also our mints are not raising millions of dollars to be able to build projects or IP. Everybody's raising anywhere between 15,000 to 50,000 US dollars. And that's a good payback on some of the work done, but that's not going to take any of the projects out there into a different level. It's not Ethereum. It's not Bitcoin, right? So we got to take that into consideration. So our plans have always been to have a proof of concept, which is what this mint meant to us. And this is what we also exteriorize in our Discord for our community. It's, guys, we can't build a lot for you right now, but we have a proof of concept that tequila has a place in the ecosystem, NFTs, and our lore. So now with that, we've catch the interest of the same investors that we were working on before, but now with the proof of concept, they were very excited. And with the good times on crypto, Bitcoin going over $100,000, and them having some good investments in crypto, so they have a lot of money to spare. So we've been having conversations with them. It's a group of investors I think it's out of New York, and they have connections to a BC, which I cannot disclaim right now, but they have connections to a very interesting BC. We had the first meeting with the BC last week, and it was very good. The vice president who was in the meeting, he's a young guy. He understands NFTs. He understands perfectly the ecosystem, which is a huge win for us, because when we are trying to pitch investors, it's hard to tell them about projects and technologies that they've never heard before. And we're in Mexico. So the interesting piece of this group too is that they already own a tequila distillery. I can disclaim that. And we've been in conversations with the brand Casa Mexico. Not that we want to be connected to one single tequila brand, because we are a tequila social club. We're not about just a brand of tequila. We're about the culture, we're about the friendship, and we're about the entertainment and lore that we're building. But nevertheless, it's a big company out there. It's a good brand. They have good access to more capital than we don't have right now. Our plan is to try to secure in the first trimester of the year for 2025 our investors and communicate this to our community, because once we have the investment necessary to build the second phase, which is our main collection of Mingles, this mint was a Genesis collection called Mingles Aped, which is the connection between the ape community, ape chain, and our project, right? But yes, if I answered all of the questions there, that's pretty much where we are right now.
Fantastic. And again, congratulations on firstly minting out and being able to raise $35,000 in Ape. And yeah, like you did mention, Ape Chain is nascent blockchain, and the NFT ecosystem is still developing. So it's hats off to you guys to firstly actually being able to mint, and then, like you mentioned, attracting investors and being able to pitch to VC. So that shows that, like you mentioned, there is definitely a proof of concept. People are interested. It's something that there's demand for, and obviously you guys have holders now and all those things. So that's great. And you mentioned you're in conversation with Casa Mexico for collaboration, which is a big brand. So that's another win. So fantastic. And thank you so much for giving us those details and being extremely transparent with your treasury and all those things. I'm sure that's one of the things that your community really does appreciate.
Yes, we're all about transparency, man. And eventually, hopefully, the project it becomes once we can launch the main collection. It is my dream to be like a DAO. We want to be a community-driven project. We want to have full transparency, and we want to make our people able to choose where we're going to go from. So hopefully, we can achieve that.
Amazing, amazing. Also, one question. I'm sure you have a lot more experience with Ape Chain. When Ape Chain initially was released and all that, obviously there was a lot of hype with like meme coins and NFTs and stuff, and Garga and all those people, the leads over at BAYC and Yuga Labs, they were also tweeting a lot about it. So have you like had any support from BAYC or the actual blockchain? And is there like any system they have for NFT projects or meme coins to reach out to them to get grants or funding and stuff like that?
They do have a lot of programs to help out projects like ours. We have not gotten any like official or like a grant program supporting our endeavors. We did have a lot of support from the community, though, from Big YC, from Big YC holders, mostly from people that we met on Lisbon. I think the fact that we were able to be there and prove ourselves as part of the community, members of the Big YC Club, and being able to network with big people in the space, big influencers, big companies. I think that was a very important moment for Mingles, because that's where we actually built our first group of supporters. We did apply for the Banana Bill, which is one of the programs that ApeCoin DAO has to be able to push projects out there, mostly on the development side of things and technology, which is a thing that we're not. We are an NFT community, and we do have some interesting proposals out there to be able to tokenize the profits from our percentage of the distillery once we crowdfund it and put that into a barrel program, into a bottle program that actually makes money. And we have a whole thing around it, but it's not actually very technological. It's not infrastructure for the blockchain itself, which is what I believe that these projects are focusing more on. We became part of the board, what is it called? BC Board Council, something like that. Venture Capital Apes, I think it is. So it's a group of angel investors. So we're going through that pitch as well. There's another program called Tanke, I believe it is. Tanke Ape, something like that, that promotes some good supports and grants for people building in the space. So we have been applying to all of them. We have not been successful yet. Everybody's swamped, man. I think they're getting hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of proposals. And I don't think it's like big teams behind them. ApeCoin DAO is going through a lot of restructuring within themselves as well. We do plan on launching an AIP to be able to sponsor a big event in April, which is called Tequila Sound Festival. Our holders are going to have some benefits for it. Yeah, man, there's a lot out there. We've been applying to other BCs outside from the ApeCoin ecosystem, but we personally haven't had any support from them, which I believe we will eventually. So we're not worried about that. Even if we don't get the support from them, we already have the support from the community. And for now, that is enough. Like I said, we had a proof of concept. We appreciate holders. We have 960 holders, which is a good size for our initial community. And we appreciate their patience. We've told them this is not like a project that is going to be built on hype, and just we have a solid plan ahead. It's going to take time. It's all of the meetings that we've had with investors, BCs, they take 1 week, 2 weeks to get into another meeting. And within the Web3 space, this is like a lifetime. And everybody just wishes that we've had like investors within the week. And it's just not that way. But once we do have the investors, it's going to create a lot of good energies and vibes within the community. And hopefully, in the same coin, we want to bring value back to those initial investors and supporters of the Mingles project. So yeah, man, it'll take time, but we are in no rush. We put already 2.5 years into the project. This is a lifetime project, at least for myself. So yeah, that's where we're at right now.
That's amazing, and it is very refreshing to hear your optimism and the positive outlook that you have, that even though you're not able to get grants and stuff, you're still actively applying. And obviously, like you mentioned, and you are aware that the Ape DAO and stuff, firstly, they're going through restructuring and they are very busy. There's hundreds of projects probably being released every day. So it's great that you're still extremely optimistic. And yeah, the main thing is that you're getting support from the community, support from BAYC holders, MAYC holders, and obviously other projects within Ape Chain, and also probably Ethereum and all your friends you made over at Lisbon. So that's fantastic and great to hear. So yeah, and then you also mentioned you have, I think, 960 holders. What's your total supply for the collection you just minted out?
The supply was 5,555 NFTs. We took a 10% supply for our team, which ended up being like 3%. Our mint was very curious. We made a couple of mistakes on the, not tokenomics, but the mechanics on the mint itself. We limited the mints per wallet in a way that it actually hurt. We had 50% of the supply pretty much sold within the first hour, which was our difference between the GTD guaranteed mint and the first come first save basis, plus then going to public. We hyped it up enough. People was excited. Everybody thought it was going to be an immediate mint out, which it wasn't. It pretty much stopped at 50%, and everybody was freaking out. Everybody was like, dude, cut the supply, set it up, which we didn't. We thought that we had a solid project. We had work done before that. We needed to have a mint out to be able to talk to investors. And just out of pure PR, DMing spaces between me and Honeybee, we were able to do the mint out within a 28-hour period, which was very interesting because everybody thinks that a quick mint out means success. But hey, BYC took 7 days to mint out. It's like good projects out there take their time, and we stuck to our guns. and we proved that we were able to. We had to protect the floor price at a certain time because people were selling below the mint price, which was very sad. But we spent probably $1,000 out of our own money just to be able to swipe the floor. We had to get rid of the treasury as well eventually because we were giving away NFTs as well, part of the negotiations to reach out to other communities. So we now are back to 100 NFTs, and that's like the project's treasury, but it doesn't really matter. We have interesting plans on onboarding an extra 1,000 people. We are going to NYC to NFT Paris on February, and we're going to push the Mingles project out there. So I think we're going to have a lot more people joining after that. So yeah, man, it was exciting times for sure.
Fantastic. And yeah, like you mentioned, it's great to hear that you guys stood your ground and didn't give in to people saying cut the supply, because there's different types of people, but there are some people who just want to instantly flip and mint and do all those things and are just in it for the profit. So I'm sure many of them were pressuring you to do things like cutting the supply, but it's great to hear that you guys stuck to your guns. And then obviously within 28 hours, which is nothing, that's just like a bit more than a day, you guys were able to fully mint out. It was a success after all. So that's great to hear. And again, congratulations on that. Yeah, thank you so much for telling us all about your project, giving us these amazing details. And we'll definitely get back more into your project. But before we do, like you mentioned, you've been in the space for a couple of years now, been to all these different events, have done a bunch of networking, courses, and all that knowledge you've gained. We'd love to hear your opinions about the NFT space in general a little bit. So currently, as a founder yourself, as a creator yourself, what do you think are the biggest challenges in the NFT space? Firstly, in general, and then also particularly for creators.
I think in general, this is just my personal opinion, but I think it's retaining attention is one of the big things out there on the Web3 ecosystem. I think interest right now is on meme coins. So a lot of the liquidity went to other markets that it's not quite the NFT market itself. So I don't believe that we're going to see another golden era of NFTs like what we saw on 2021. But I think we start to see a more mature market when it comes to people investing and coming to this into these projects. I think NFTs are here to stay. I think the use cases for NFTs is going to be around utility projects, which is why I believe it's going to be the biggest thing. And I've read a lot of recent studies on it, and the PFP is still dominating the market because it's just the way that IPs grow, and the crowdfunding effect and the community marketing effect that these projects or communities can build through NFTs are proving themselves right. We see the case of Moonbird, Sasuke, Goblin Town, which are like the blue chip projects that everybody knows about, but there's other projects out there raising millions of dollars, building their own thing, and maybe we don't know a lot about them, but they're doing a good job. So I believe that we're going to struggle with some of the attention and the bad publicity as well. We have a lot of bad publicity for NFTs themselves as a word, as a term, as an industry because of bad players, scams, and just it's not as easy to onboard people to NFTs as it should be. I think we're getting there with the technology. Ape Chain, at least, is not super easy. Ethereum has become more easy. You can buy an NFT with a credit card on a secondary market, or even mint with a credit card. So hopefully we go through that. And that's regarding the NFT space. What was the second question?
Yeah, so the second question is, what do you think in particularly for creators is a challenge within the NFT space?
I think for creators, the biggest challenge is outreach, how to get your project out there. It's become very expensive. The best change, in my opinion, to launch if you want to create good, solid mints and raise of a couple of million, $100,000, which you need to build a brand, it's got to be Ethereum, it's got to be Bitcoin. But it's way too expensive for creators to go to Bitcoin because of the mint mechanics. Ethereum, it's a lot cheaper, and anybody can launch anything on Ethereum. But breaking through the barrier of the marketing barrier right now, it's become so expensive. It's thousands of projects coming out every single day. And if you want to have a successful mint, Either you have the founder's funnel like Leon Abud from Unfungible Calls, and you can rely on your own following. If you're a big influencer, if you're a great artist that has already a follow on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, if you can bring your people into blockchain, then it makes it easier. If you don't have any solid presence or any social proof on the internet, you got to build that first. It costs money. Money is a hack. If you want to hack into the ecosystem, you pay KOLs, you pay for paid advertising campaigns, TikTok, Twitter, everywhere, right? But it's too expensive, man. If you want to make it out there, you cannot come in without a budget of at least $300,000. If you want to make it out there, maybe stand a chance. But projects are spending $500,000 into building their brands and pushing out their mints, which they do, and then they raise 3, 4, even $10 million with that, $20 million for that matter, even in these market conditions. But that is the biggest challenge. You got to choose wisely your blockchain. Other blockchains like Solana, Polygon, ApeChain for that matter, it's a lot easier to launch. Right now, it's a lot cheaper also, but it's a lot smaller. Now, I would recommend just go for ApeChain. I'm an ApeChain maxi myself. I think the community is very small, so you can really start talking to everybody within a couple of weeks. And after that, you can have a successful race if you have a solid project behind it. But that's the biggest challenge, man. The various of entrance for the marketing side of things and getting your project out there for people to know about it.
Fantastic. And, I completely agree with what you're saying with Bitcoin and Ethereum, how Bitcoin's expensive and Ethereum it's cheaper than Bitcoin, but like you mentioned, it's very saturated. And to have it true to be able to fully mint out, raise hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars, you have to put a lot of initial capital, which 99% of people don't have access to, or you have to have some sort of huge following and all that stuff, which again, most people don't have. And then, yeah, the general challenges, like you already mentioned, completely agree with them also. And then Solana, Polygon, ApeChain, those are other blockchains that you'd recommend for smaller creators because it's easier to launch, don't need that big of a budget. That's great. And thank you so much for that advice. I'm sure many people who are listening, who are planning to release something, will definitely take that into consideration. Yeah, obviously, we talked about the challenges. Now let's switch it up a bit, talk about the trends and things that excite you the most in Web3 or in the NFT space, either now or upcoming in the future. And how do you think the future of Web3 evolves?
Such a broad question. When it comes to Web3, I am not as experienced or knowledgeable about DeFi. DeFi is huge, makes up for 80% of the Web3 space right now. Web3 also includes gaming. I think gaming is going to onboard. When people talk about onboarding, I think real onboarding is going to come from the gaming industry. They have access to millions of people. There's a lot of interest into the play and the play to earn, the play and earn like business models. I don't like that the narrative for people coming into the space is always been, I want to make money. It's very strong, brings a lot of people, but sometimes it makes the use cases of the technology kind of disappear between that blend of the greedy people wanting to come in just for making money, which, by the way, most of us just lose money when we come into the space. It's not like it's a guarantee, right? But I think the use cases for real world assets and utility on the side of NFTs are going to be a big thing. Our project itself is inspired on real world assets. We want to have a real world asset backing up your investment and growing together, right? I think we're going to see more projects like this in the future. DeFi, of course, it's going to keep growing with Trump coming into the presidency of the United States and backing up, making it easier. He wants to make United States the capital of the world regarding crypto, which is not right now. Everybody goes to Dubai, everybody goes to Europe because there's better politics and legal conditions on how to do it. And right now the SEC is not supporting it. But I think the future is going to be a bright future. I think everybody's going to have a digital wallet within 2-3 years from now. Either they know it or don't know about it. I think the technology is going to be so interesting that people are not going to longer talk about NFTs or blockchain. They're just going to be using electronic money. The word NFT itself, I think it's going to disappear sooner than later. Reddit being one of the best use cases for that with digital collectibles. But I think that's it, man. I think the future is going to rely a lot into real world assets, at least for the NFT ecosystem. And we will see new BYC projects, new Azuki projects very soon. I think as soon as people understand how easy, how fast, how powerful is a community behind an IP, it could be anything. That's gonna make a huge difference on how people can benefit from it.
Fantastic, fantastic. Thank you so much. And yeah, I completely agree with your broader knowledge and experience and all your thoughts about the Web3 space in general and also with NFTs. Focuses on, like you mentioned, gaming and how that is a potential for real onboarding. Obviously, we saw one game that was released on the Avalanche blockchain, off the grid, if I remember correctly. And yeah, they exploded. They had all these big Twitch streamers like Ninja and all these guys who have like hundreds of thousands of followers, watching them daily. They were playing that game. So yeah, I definitely agree that gaming is one segment that can really help us with mass adoption. And then, like you mentioned, with Trump and his support for Web3 and DeFi and his involvement with the space is definitely a net positive for us, especially with regulations and the SEC and all those things. So, yeah, thank you so much for those thoughts. So, yeah, now let's head over back to the project and the Mingles. So, obviously, you mentioned that you guys have just recently minted out, and then there's you and yourself, you and your co-founder Honeybee, who are in the team. Are there any other people in the team? And throughout your journey, has your team size changed, and has that impacted your project?
Oh, it's a good question. So it started with being a one-man team, two-man team back in the day with a different founder that I was working on when the project initiated as Tequilaverse. And we had a fallout. He stopped believing in the project and he just wanted to focus on tequila opportunities, which he did it on his own. For a long time, it was me, my ex-partner, and my fiance back in the day, my girlfriend. She's a designer. She helped me out build the first initial marketing side of things for Tequilaverse, then Mingles. I also had my brother who's a developer. So he would help us out with the tech side of things initially. And then because he's married, he's got 3 kids, so he didn't really have the time to really push the project out there. So later on, it was me and Honeybee. Then Honeybee had to step down. Then it was me and my girlfriend, my fiance back in the day. Then during the soft launch at ETH Denver, we had good partners coming in from LA, a group of developers from a company called Ledger XYC with Jay Patel and Minsun. So they're great. They pretty much became part of our, they would do all of the technology. Our, which is a Web3 platform. If anybody, any tequila, anybody who doesn't know about Web3 goes into our website, mingles.whatthefuck, they can just input an email and we automatically create a custodial wallet for them. And we automatically send tokens on the Polygon network, like as we speak, right? To onboard them. So in a way, it's a way of onboarding people. And it is a Web3 platform with a referral system as well. So Layer XYC built that for us. They believe in the project. They actually, Jay Patel is one of our biggest holders on the Mingles Genesis collection, which can show you the level of commitment from them. So our team then became a little bit bigger. We had one of my best friends called Karim Soto here in Guadalajara. He's got a production company. So with him, we were able to do a lot of content for the Mingles, videos, studio recording, green screens, you name it. He's got drones, cameras, lighting equipment. So we were able to do high quality productions with a fraction of the cost, pretty much just paying for gas. He's a good partner into the project. And after that, one of our biggest supporters right now has been Daniel Armero from Casa Mexico. He co-owns three tequila distilleries with other partners, groups from LA and New York. He's got access to capital. He's got access to celebrities, and he's a great guy. He's a younger guy. Whenever we need tequila to do anything here in Mexico, he would just give it for us for free, right? For free. He wants to be one of the partners. He has a proposal where he needs to commit with some of the money. So he's not officially a partner, but he is our partner. So with his piece, we cover the knowledge and the know-how on how to bring products to market when it comes to tequila. Even if we are not a tequila brand, we will have a tequila brand as a community, part of the business model. But that's the team right now. We have a bigger team. We have Marshall as a community manager, and he's been terrific. He's been with us since a year ago, and he's been amazing, man. Like, most of the people don't actually have like equity into the project. They will have some sort of option program, or we will take care of our people. We have to, but right now that's the team. It's me, Honeybee, Marshall, Huddle, which we hired to get community spots and whitelist spots within the Ape Chain, Abstract, and other chains for future projects. We have an accountant team. We have a guy probably joining us who's going to raise capital for us. Even if we close down an investment with this group, with the Casa Mexico group, that's going to be very interesting, and we won't be needing any more investment. But that's the team right now. It's been difficult. It's been hard. I went through a marriage. I just recently got married, and that's a lot of expenses. So you can imagine the wifey complaining about money when you're putting money into a cartoon and projects like that. It's, dude, you're going to go to Lisbon. You're not going to take me. She is going to NFT Paris now and she's great at making content. She edits most of our videos. So we have I wouldn't say a small team. It's probably 10 to 12 people. And most of them are here for the long run. They're cutting off on expenses because even with our current treasury, we can burn through that in 3-4 months of operations, which we don't want to do. And our people is supporting us. They're holding off on some of the bigger payments or taking a cut on the wages. We've had, me and Honey, the bliss of finding the right people to work with us. And everybody is just waiting to get the investors in. And once we get investors, that's a different story. So yeah, that's our team. It's been a tough struggle, being able to do content on Twitter, personal brand, networking, trying to pitch VCs, work with the art, strategy, man. We spent most of our time talking about strategy and next steps. And it's a full-time job, man. I had to resign my old job. I have a couple of gigs on the side, but Mingles has become my top priority since 12 months ago, a year ago. And that's not going to happen, man. We're going to make it happen regardless.
Wow, wow, wow. That's so amazing to hear. And I'm sure it's very, very evident to all the listeners and obviously myself that you're in it for the long run. And so is your team that you've built. And the fact that you faced a lot of challenges, fallouts with your previous founder, and people gave up, but you were still here. You were still in the trenches, and your family members were helping you out, your brother, your fiance, and now wife. Congratulations on the wedding. That's another big milestone. And I'm sure the fact that she is helping you with your project and you're embracing it, helping you with your passion really gives you a lot of power and energy. That's amazing to hear. And then obviously, like you mentioned, now you have a much bigger team of 10 to 12 people. So that's just amazing. And hats off to you on being able to create such a team. Most projects aren't even able to do that. So it just shows that you guys are really on your path to success. So congratulations on that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. The next question, does your communities, I know you guys just recently minted, so you're still, like you mentioned, you have 960 holders. I'm sure you have a Discord and all those things. So does your community's opinion and or feedback, so if you make an announcement or something or some deliverable, the feedback on that, does that impact your vision and or mission?
Yes, 100%. So first of all, I'm very committed to making this project a community-driven project. So what we've done so far right now is, guys, this is the plan. This is what we're executing. Just be patient. Most of our community, which is very interesting, came from our mint, from the PR and connections that we did one-of-one, right? The bigger holders came after they saw that, by all means, our mint was not quite a success. It was stuck at 50%. So the people who came afterwards were people that believed in us to actually build this that we want. Our floor price doesn't really reflect, we have like 11% of our supply listed, and our floor price is way below the mint price. Mint price was 6.98. Our floor price right now should be like 1.8, which is by no means good, I would say. People think they have an investment and the reflection is going to be the floor price, but floor prices can change in a day, right? From 1 ape to 100 ape if needed, depending on what the situation is. So what we thought would be the best for our community, and we did communicate this, was, guys, we're going to secure investment. And right now we're trying to secure a $2 million investment into the project. So imagine what that would do for the floor price for our community, right? So we know it's going to take a little bit of time, but like I said, our holders are happy with us. The biggest, the whale holders, they like what we're doing, but we do take their opinions into consideration. If they're not happy about something, we will do something to change that. But we have a very thought out plan on how we're going to execute into this project, and they liked it. We announce once every week. We got people playing Rumble every day on Discord. We hired a moderator. We hired a people to bring on a whitelist, and we have a community manager. There's always something to do in our Discord, or somebody to talk to. As of right now, the community is backing us up. I want to believe so. If there's people that are not happy with it, we talk to them one-on-one. There's people that were rocked and they bought into the wrong collection. We gave them free NFTs. There's people who want out of the community. That's fine. Just put it out there. We're going to sweep the floor if needed. We'll buy back the NFTs from you. That's fine. That mint is not going to make a difference right now, economically speaking, but it makes a lot of a difference when we talk to investors, and it means the world to us, because having 960 holders, you can see most of the collections on Ape Chain, they either have 300, 400. We have 960. So we have a good chance of actually building a solid community. And that's what we're planning to do. And yes, of course, every single voice in our community is always heard. I got a public profile on Twitter. Everybody can just DM me. On Discord, I've even shared my Telegram, which is my personal cell phone. So I had people reaching out to me or just calling me and being like, hey, Memo, how's the plan going? And what you guys doing? And I will respond to every one of them. Same for Honeybee, man. Like, we're here to build this, and we're going to see a lot of our holders in NFT Paris. So that's going to be exciting as well. And of course, we're going to bring Tequila with us.
Fantastic, fantastic. And yeah, just having that transparency and that open communication channel, like you mentioned, you've actually shared your own TG, and Honeybee is also there who openly communicates with the holders, answers any questions. That in itself is a huge thing. I think it really embodies the ethos of Web3, which is transparency, decentralization, being able to directly communicate with founders and teams and stuff, rather than having a whole hierarchy and all those things. That is a great thing in and of itself. And that's why, like you mentioned, I'm sure your holders are very happy, whales are happy, and people who are not, you're always there to talk it out, discuss with them, make changes, take their opinion into consideration. So fantastic. And then the last question to wrap things up for all the listeners, I'm sure they're interested on your opinion on your project. So what three things would you say set your project apart from others?
Okay, three things that would set our project. First thing, the real world asset aspect of things. That is very important, because I believe that people should have like a guarantee that either their investment, when you buy into any project, either if it's a 6.9 ape, or if it's 3 ape, or if it's 3 ETH, whatever it is, it's your money and you got to take care of it. And us as project managers, as founders, because that's what I believe a founder is, it's just a project manager for their communities. Our responsibility is to take care of that money. So to have a guarantee that it will never go to zero, because it has a real world asset, which, by the way, in the tequila industry appreciates a lot higher than any other assets out there, because you can flip distilleries away and you can increase capacity and you can increase the value of those distilleries, or you can bring other investors in. You can bring more money into the project just by having the asset itself, which is, by the way, a money-making asset, right? So I believe one is the real-world asset. The second thing that sets our project apart within the ecosystem is that we have a very solid business model around the project, which is going to make money and has revenue streams outside from the crypto space, outside from the community. Think of it as a crowdfunding effect. Everybody pitches in, we buy a tequila distillery, and then the business becomes to sell tequila, not to the community, but to other people as a B2B, B2C, whatever it is. We will bring money from the outside and then convert it into crypto. So in a way, we're helping the ecosystem grow and we can all benefit from it. I would say that is the second thing that sets it up apart. And the third thing is our lore. Everybody in the tequila industry does the same thing. It's about the beautiful girls, sophisticated guys, the expensive cars, the agave fields, the haciendas, right? We like that, and we will have all of that, sure. But we are focused on bringing a different side of the tequila culture storytelling with our unique worms, the tequila worms, the gaming aspect of it that could be a part of the project, which will be. But our lore is unique. We have people in the community, and myself included, we've studied tequila for many years. So we're going to bring a different perspective on how to enjoy the tequila culture, which has never been done before by any of the big players in the industry, at least. So I would say those are the three different things that set our project apart. Maybe not compared to NFT projects, somewhat the first and second pieces of it, but the third is comparing ourselves to the industry, because our project is not meant to be a niche NFT crypto gamer project. It's meant to onboard every single aficionado out there who wants to be part of this project.
Wow, fantastic, fantastic. And yeah, I think those three things are amazing things, and they're definitely extremely unique to regular NFT projects and average NFT project. Like you mentioned, RWA, that in itself is very unique because your digital assets are backed by a real world asset, a physical asset. And then obviously your business model, which is going to generate revenue and benefit the holders. And then, like you mentioned, your lore, which again you said is the lore is unique. It's never been done before, related to the tequila worms and the gaming aspect to it. So that's fantastic. So yeah, it's become tradition that before we end the interview, for all the listeners who have stuck out till the end, who are here with us listening to you and your amazing story, if you could drop some exclusive alpha, something that maybe you haven't announced or something that you guys have been working on. Of course, no pressure if it's confidential or anything, but if there's anything, that would be amazing.
Sure, 100%. Got to be real careful on this one because of our lawyer, because we also have a lawyer, Emmanuel Delba, which has been amazing, part of the project and part of the founders in a way. But we are working on giving away something to our actual holders. It's going to be never before done within the tequila industry aspect of things. Other projects have done something like this. I'm just going to leave it like that. But there's going to be a gift once we do all of our compliances, legally compliances around that. But it's going to be a gift that hopefully people appreciate first and foremost, and shows the level of commitment that the founders have on this project. And I think that's going to be the real alpha. Just for holders right now, just hold your NFTs, man. No need to sell them below mint price. We're going to back up some of that price in a very interesting way. And if not, you can just list it and get done with it. That's fine. That is one of the alphas. And I will share a second alpha, which we are already in conversations with Abstract Chain. And we pretty much have a solid support from Abstract Chain to try to do something with them. So we are like 8 chain maxes ourselves. We don't quite want to move to another chain just yet, but we do believe in multi-chain because it just brings more communities together. And tequila is for everybody. Tequila is for Ape Chain. Tequila is for Ethereum. Tequila is for Bitcoin. Tequila connects everybody. So we might be doing something with Abstract, and Abstract is coming very soon. But regardless, right now the true alpha is probably what we're going to try to do during NFT Paris, and we will keep you guys posted. That's like super new, man. We haven't even shared this news on Discord.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. And extremely exclusive, not even shared on Discord. Wow. Thanks a lot. And I'm sure the listeners they're shaking in their chairs and they're super, super excited to hear more details about all these exclusive alpha that you just dropped. So yeah, that should wrap up the interview. And before we end, I'll do a brief recap for all the listeners. They can remember all the things, all the great things that you've told us. So obviously we started off with a brief of your project. So you guys are building the biggest social tequila club with 5,555 NFTs. The point is to make friends, be a part of the tequila industry, and co-own a tequila brand through real-world assets, through a brand, through a tequila distillery in itself. And then obviously we talked about your personal journey You told us that before Web3, you did PR, project management, marketing, sales, all those things, and you were right-hand man of a Web2 tequila company and brewery brand. So obviously you have a lot of experience in tequila and the alcohol industry. And then you would also do a lot of hosting for potential investors, sponsor other communities in Guadalajara. And then you went to Europe for a TED Talk, and there they were talking about Axie Infinity, where you were introduced to Web3 and blockchain, got super interested, did a couple of online courses to learn, found out about NFTs, BAYC, Azuki, and then instantly fell in love, and then wanted to create your own brand, pursued the passion, and then mix it with the passion of tequila, making friends and storytelling. And then you also did things like assistant NYC NFT, got into the culture, the DJN culture, went to Ape Festival in Lisbon. And then obviously you told us more about your NFT project, about how one of the triggering moments was when you did Benju's course. And then that's when you decided, okay, I want to build my own brand. I want to do an NFT project. I want to like, one of the things is that it's similar to Link's DAO, but for tequila, and how you want to build a decentralized opportunity for tequila aficionados and integrate tequila worms, which are a big piece of tequila. And that's also what inspired your art. And then you guys started off with a project called Tequila Verse, but then obviously you met Honeybee, and then you guys turned it into the Mingles. And the Honeybee, who was your co-founder, you met him at NYC NFT, and then you guys became friends. And then obviously you invited him to Mexico. He stayed with you for 2 months, and you guys worked on the project. And then you guys stayed in touch after that. And obviously, once you got the interest of people and you saw people were interested, you guys truly pursued this, and you guys are now full time. Like you said, you just resigned your job. It's been 12 months and you've been completely full time, completely in the project. And then regarding your minting and funds and all that, it was completely bootstrapped by you and Honeybee. You guys put in around 30,000 for things like art, operations, trademark, all these legal things and all the different things that come with creating a project. The mint, even though it had some challenges, in the end, it was a great success because you guys were able to fully mint out. You guys were able to raise 35,000 in Ape, which at the time was around $60,000, but due to the price decrease, it's around 32,000. And you guys still have around 20,000 in treasury. And
28,000.
oh, so yeah, 28,000. Okay, yeah. So that's fantastic. You guys left to 28,000 in your treasury, and you guys are continuing to fund the project through your own revenue streams. And you have a proof of concept now. So you're catching the interest of investors, pitching to VCs, in conversation with big brands like Casa Mexico for collaboration, and plan to secure investors by 2025, which is fantastic. And the dream is to be like a DAO, a fully community-driven project. And you guys are also applying for things like the banana bill and grants and stuff for the ape chain to help you guys out and launch an AIP, which is, yeah, to sponsor a big event in April with holder benefits. And then also plan to push the Mingles in NFT pairs. So always making connections, networking, and putting the project out there. And then we talked about, through your experience, the NFT space, some general challenges, which are retaining attention, bad publicity because of scams and all those things, and then liquidity being sparse because it's in different segments like meme coins, all that stuff. And then obviously we talked about some trends in the NFT space, which are gaming, which can bring mass adoption. And then also a use case, a big use case of NFTs, which is RWA, real world assets, which is what you guys are working on and which what your project is based on. You believe that'll be big for NFTs. And obviously the fact that the new administration, Trump's administration, them embracing and supporting Web3 is really huge for us as a space in general. And then, yeah, then we got back to your project, talked about your team, which is now 10 to 12 people. So it started off with you and a founder who unfortunately left, but you continued through the trenches with your fiance, with your brother, and now you guys have full time, you guys have a full team of 10 to 12 people, from accountants to lawyers to community managers and to a whole group of devs who are, you guys are very invested in your project. And then you mentioned your community's opinion and feedback. They really do impact your mission and vision, and you take things into consideration. A very transparent and open communication channel. You're active in your Discord and all those things. which is fantastic. And to wrap things up, you told us the three things that set your projects apart and make it really unique is the RWA aspect, because it gives a guarantee that your NFTs are backed by a real asset, which are distilleries and the tequila brand in your case. Second is the solid business model, which will help you guys generate revenue outside of crypto, similar to crowdfunding. And you can sell tequila in B2B and B2C to help grow this ecosystem. And then obviously your lore, which is focused on bringing a different side of tequila, which is the tequila worms and the gaming aspect. And your experience with tequila, your many years in this industry really helps with that. And then to end it off, you gave us very graciously and kindly gave us some fantastic alpha, which is not even announced in your Discord, which is the giveaway that you guys are going to do once legal is worked out. And then it will really show the level of commitment that you and the other founders have. And then obviously the fact that you guys are in conversation with Pudgy Penguin's new blockchain abstract, and the fact that you believe in a multi-chain as tequila is for everyone and all chains, and also some alpha coming up during NFT Paris. So I think that should wrap everything up. Hopefully, I didn't miss anything important.
Nothing, man. That's a great summary, man. It's amazing. Congrats.
Fantastic, fantastic. Thank you. Before we end off, Memo, do you have any closing remarks for the listeners?
Just enjoy the space, man. When people say we're still early, feels like a cliche, and everybody thinks we missed out on apes, we missed out on Azukis, we missed out on everything, but we haven't really missed out on too much. It's like everything is building now. It's a great time to create if the guts for it, because it ain't easy. It's not easy at all, but it's a beautiful space, and meeting people for me is the number one thing about Web3 that I love the most. And thank you so much for your community, of course. Let me know. Let's make it happen. Let's give away 15 NFTs for your people, 15 Mingles to onboard you guys and have not 960 holders, but 975. So you can make that happen in any way you want. And of course, you got your own Mingles, don't you?
No,
Well, if any, of
I
course, let's onboard you. So we have 961 for now, 976 by the time you're done giving your giveaways. But great, it's great. It's great to see people interested in this. I hope my story helps you out. Either make a decision, pull the trigger on launching your own project. If by any chance you need any other help, just reach out to me, man. I've been helped by a lot of founders, so I want to help back as well. Mingles is here. Go Tequila. See you guys in the Discord, man.
Fantastic, fantastic. Thank you so much. We'll definitely do those giveaways and get some listeners onboarded. So to everyone listening, make sure to check out Mingles on Discord, check out their Twitter, buy some NFTs, join their community, get in touch with their founder. And just overall, just if you want to learn more about tequila, join a fantastic community. This is one that you should really look. So thank you so much. Hope you have a great day. Bye-bye.